My grandmother always had dinner on the table. Even when the tyrant put checkpoints outside her door, her defiance made mealtimes a battle her family would always win.
My name is Amal Kassir. My name is Hope, short, because my great-great-grandfather was like 4'9", so we were kind of nicknamed that. I'm 18 years old. I was born in Denver, Colorado, and my mother's from Iowa and my father's from Syria. I just spent my life in suburban Aurora, you know, nice little happy middle class area. Grew up with the idea that I was from another place, because I never went to Syria. I was an American kid, you know, Toys R Us and Ranch, and that was what we had. When I was 7 years old, the family decided to go ahead and go on to Syria. It was right after 9/11. It was more obvious that being a Muslim was something. It wasn't just a word that we called ourselves. When my mother would get called a terrorist or told to go back to her country when we were in the grocery stores, and you know, getting the middle finger by guys in big red trucks, my dad was like, okay, maybe we should just go to Syria, learn the language and the culture, and settle down, you know, until things kind of simmer down over here. We hated it so much at first. We lived in a crummy little apartment somewhere, and we didn't speak the language. We hated the fact that, like, everything was Arabic, everything was foreign, but within months that changed. When we met with the family, when we started going to my grandma's farm, when we started knowing, you know, where to get the best shawarma, where the best falafel was, you know, what best, you know, places that there are to go, it became home. My grandmother had 14 children. They lived on the outskirts of Damascus, so it wasn't the super fancy part, you know. We were a farming family. And in my grandma's house, she had a round table. You could fit like 37 people around this like one table. And you could not believe how many people are sitting around, and they always managed to fit, and they always had enough food. It's one of those places, you know, it was enchanted almost. When I talk about my Syria and what it was, you just think about what it is now, and you can't forget that there's something that has changed.
Thousands of Syrians have been demanding an end to the 40-year dictatorship of the Assad family.
Peaceful protesters were fired on in the street.
The government's lost control to the rebels, but it's terrified civilians who are paying the price.
Innocent people are killed now, including children and women.
There are more than 1.3 million Syrian refugees around the region.
I don't think it's possible for the rest of the world to understand what's truly happening.
Everything's changed, everything. And my family's separated. They're across 5 countries right now because they had to be refugees. And there's 12 members that have been killed. The youngest one was 13 years old. And this is what the families come to. You know, everything was happy. I swear they were eating together, and they ate together as long as they could, until the war literally stepped outside their door and knocked and told, you know, kind of like an eviction notice. And so things have changed now. I really want to go there, and every day it's like my heart's just tearing apart because I can't be there, and I want to be in refugee camps, and I want to be with young people.
And when the war started, even the rivers ran away. For the hands of a militant aren't like the hands of a farmer. Bullet and earth can't speak to each other. Blood will not make crops grow, and so Syria stopped growing.
My poetry was just angry letters to rich guys. Like, that's where I started for the first few poems. When I was able to put my own narrative onto the stage and perform that, that's what I fell in love with.
I first met Amal when she first slammed off for the team. We became best friends. She's the most beautiful person I've ever met in my life. Her soul is so beautiful. People know her as like the sweetest flower amongst the flowers, or the fiercest thorn among the thorns.
If you're just angry and you just sit there with anger, you fill with hatred. You do. It's so healthy to write it down. Like, it's so simply healthy. There's no doubt that the liberal arts, the creative mindset, the heart, the soul, giving yourself to something other than you, something external, like you are doing a gift to yourself and the world. and you are creating partnership between people, between stories, and you are connecting the world. I have a weapon, and I swear it sits in my mouth that it has the range that can take me into the heavens, send me back down with the prayers of martyr, heavier than any tank you have ordered into my town.
Over time of being poetic, we were like, we really want to help. And she had the idea to send containers. I had the idea to do poetry, to fund it. Then she had the idea of doing like a tour with it.
Project More Than Metaphors is how spoken word is being put to use in the Syrian conflict. It's how we are changing the world through a basic art form for people who need it the most. We can buy fresh bread for a group of orphans right now. Right now, I could send that money over. We have the power to get anything done now. And it's because people had $1 in their pocket that they didn't need anymore, and that is more than a metaphor.
We want art, we want to inspire people, but more than that, if we can educate people along the way, if I can read a poem that gives someone shivers and moves in them a truth greater than themselves that moves through me to them, then I have won.
We all want to be a part of the solution because that is what we are. We are humans who care, whether we like it or not. We do not burn. The Syrian people do not burn. Homs, Hama, Idlib, Dara, Latakia, Ghouta, Damascus does not burn. Peace is indestructible. We are fireproof. No Scud missile can hurt us, and we don't disappear when our bodies turn to ash.
Amal. The word Amal in Arabic is hope. The fact that she exists in this time, during what's happening, doing what she does, I believe that she is the hope for the Syrian people.
Hope and love has never disappeared, never once. Look at all of society since the beginning of time. We've looked at flowers and said that is beautiful. We've loved one another. We've had relations, we've had smiles, we've shared laughter, we've shared nods, anything. That is how I remain hopeful.
لأنه طلبنا الحرية ويلا نروح يا حافظ ولا الجيش خلفته جنوا جنوا البعثية لأنه طلبنا الحرية ويلا نروح يا حافظ ولا الجيش خلفته يا بشار يا كسار تضرب أنت